Hey guys, what's up? I'd like to start today's episode off with a question. Are you aware of the fact that all of America's mainstream media is owned and controlled by a mere 6 corporations? That's roughly 1,500 newspapers, 1,100 magazines, 9,000 radio stations, 1,500 television stations, and 2,400 publishers owned by a mere 6 companies. These companies control over 90% of what 280 million Americans see, hear, and read on a daily basis. This, of course, means that unless you're already consciously avoiding these media sources, most of the news and entertainment that you consume comes from a small pool of corporate sources, all of which play an important role in delivering propaganda, social programming, and perpetual crisis narratives to the public. Why is this significant? Well, when you take a long, hard look at what mainstream media represents, it's easy to see the sort of society these 6 corporations are in the midst of creating. They've already warped our perception of reality by calling what are obviously scripted shows reality shows. The long-term effects of these shows on the minds of our citizens is immeasurable, especially when you consider how shallow and utterly materialistic they all are. They emphasize consumerism above all else, tapping into a primal urge to fit in by way of keeping up with the Joneses, or in this case, the Kardashians. The promotion of shallow, materialistic, egocentric values and the cognitive conditioning of the American population is driven by these 6 companies. These corporations glorify consumption, obedience, ignorance, the hypersexualization of our youth, the glorification of war, government surveillance, and so on. The advertisers that support these media companies essentially dictate what makes it on the airwaves. They control public perception. Have you ever noticed that if an idea doesn't support mainstream narratives or the consumer agenda, it's simply ignored, as if it's not even happening? Recently, the largest display of civil disobedience to ever take place at our nation's capital just went down. Isn't that news? Well, not according to corporate-controlled media. They barely covered the event. Now, concerning last Tuesday's New York City Democratic debate with Secretary Clinton, most people surveyed felt Bernie came out on top, yet CNN declared Clinton the winner. Why? Well, it could have something to do with the fact that Time Warner Cable owns CNN. Time Warner, surprise, surprise, has donated close to $500,000 to Hillary Clinton's campaign. Is this a coincidence? I don't think so. The fact is, corporate media is driven by the special interests of the powerful. If they feel a particular candidate represents their best interests, you can bet they're going to be made to look like they represent ours. And so a significant portion of the human story is manufactured, if not altogether omitted, in this capitalistic for-profit scheme. It's really no wonder that we're now seeing the rise of alternative news and media. Every day, more and more people are tuning into alternative media sources for their news and information concerning politics and world events. A recent poll suggests that a mere 6% of people surveyed feel that mainstream media is presented in a way that is both fair and balanced and truthful. 6%. However, as wonderful as this all sounds, I believe it's a time for caution. As the old paradigm is increasingly threatened by the free flow of information and people's unwillingness to simply take anything at face value, their grip will begin to tighten. I feel it's only a matter of time before the powers that be attempt to subvert alternative media, if they haven't already. How will they do this? Well, that's simple. By posing to be the very thing they're supposedly competing against. It wouldn't take much to pull something like this off, if you think about it. Is it possible that some sites that pose as alternative media are actually being funded by subsidiaries of the 6 most powerful corporations in America? It sure is. Does this sound conspiratorial? It's not. Remember the Tea Party? What was promoted and sold to us as a good old homegrown grassroots movement was in actuality an anti-government project heavily funded by Charles and David Koch, founders of Koch Industries, the 2nd largest privately held company in the United States. The Koch brothers didn't fund the campaign directly, however. They instead funneled money and resources through one of their many subsidiary foundations. Once the ball began to roll, mainstream media, Fox News specifically, ran with it, never once questioning the roots and true organizational factors behind the phenomenon. While remaining behind a curtain of virtual anonymity, the Koch brothers were able to shift the balance of power while the general public was fooled into believing that it was done organically and from the ground up. Does all of this sound criminal? It's not. It's corporate-controlled politics, and it's happening right now. And like most great illusions, it's hidden in plain sight. That illusion is called mainstream media. Now, I know this all sounds doom and gloom, but there is good news. As of this filming, there are literally hundreds of places one can go for independently sourced news and information. And if the presidential campaigns of Donald Trump and Bernie Sanders tell us anything, it's the fact that the American people no longer trust the old way of doing things. They no longer trust the establishment. Not trusting leads to questions, questions lead to the truth, And the truth will set you free, or at least reveal that you're not. Knowing this fact is half the battle. Acting upon it will define you and generations to come as Americans. Actually, it'll define America itself. And that's some Frank Talk. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.